From now on, we are supporting my mom and sister. If you don't like it, then I'm gonna divorce you. Why do I have to be kicked out of the house? I can't possibly agree with what my husband suddenly brought up, and his sister is an absolute monster. Living with someone like her would surely drive me insane. I tried everything in my power to avoid living together, but my pleas fell on deaf ears, and in the end, he threatened me with divorce. But I'm not someone who gives up easily. Now that it has come to this, I want to get a grip on his vulnerabilities and make him regret. It seems he's hiding something from me, but if he thinks he can keep it a secret and have his way, he's sorely mistaken. My name is Linda Hernandez. I'm a 38-year-old working housewife, and we've been married for 2 years. We don't have kids yet, but we both want them soon. Ever since I graduated from a community college, I've been working full-time at a general hospital, but I've cut back on my hours to undergo fertility treatments. Currently, I'm working part-time only in the mornings at a nearby private clinic, but I have concerns. The concerns I'm troubled with. The worries I'm holding on to are about the fertility treatment and my husband, Jake. I fell head over heels for Jake, who works smoothly in sales at an insurance company, and that led to our marriage. We both had a mutual desire to have children. A home filled with the laughter of children is so appealing, don't you think? I've always wanted kids, but I'm getting on in years. Don't be so downhearted. We'll have them in no time. Jake seemed to think that we'd naturally have kids without any effort, but reality isn't that easy. 2 years have passed, and there's still no sign of us having a child. I discussed the treatment with Jake, but his response was unexpected. Do we really need to go to a clinic? I mean, you hear about celebrities having babies in their 40s. Why not let nature take its course? I want to do everything possible. You said you wanted children too, didn't you? It's not like we're sick or anything, and it's gonna cost money. We're going to find out whether there's an issue or not. And if you're worried about money, I'll pay from my savings. Is that okay? Jake wasn't entirely convinced, but reluctantly agreed when I offered to cover the treatment costs from my pocket money. Fortunately, my parents also agreed to provide some financial assistance, which was a great relief. However, the situation was more serious than I thought, and it became challenging to continue working full-time while visiting the clinic. The doctor said I need to visit every 3 days. With work and all, it's gonna be tough. Well, you've come this far, and your parents are helping with the costs, right? So, it should be fine. Jake's response, which basically meant he was okay as long as it didn't affect his wallet, left a bad taste in my mouth. Still, I reassured myself, thinking that everything will turn around once we have a child. On a weekday when I had the day off from my part-time job, and Jake had gone to work, I enjoyed some rare alone time. Then, a call came in from an unfamiliar number. Picking up the phone, it was Jake's sister, Jennifer. Nevertheless, I wonder why the phone number has changed, it's a bit concerning. Did you change your number? I was surprised when an unknown number called. There were some reasons. Anyway, can I come over now? Is Jake at work? Jake isn't here on weekdays, but I'm off work. What time do you think you'll arrive? However, Jennifer started speaking without regard to my question. I have so much to talk to you about, Linda. Let's have a good girls' chat. I just wanted to know what time she'd be arriving, but she didn't answer that. Eventually, Jennifer arrived at my place right after I had taken a few bites of my lunch. So, muttering, I should have known. I hurriedly put the rest of my lunch back in the fridge. Welcome. If you'd told me when you were coming, I would have prepared lunch for you. I haven't had lunch yet. I'm starving. Oh, would you like me to make something? Jennifer quickly glanced at the kitchen shelf and waved her hand. On the shelf was a gift pound cake from a department store. It was a limited item, and I was looking forward to eating it as a treat on a special day. Nah, if I eat too much, I'll gain weight. But I'm curious about this cake. Let's just have this for lunch. Where's the knife? Looking around the room for a knife to cut the pound cake, there was something slightly unsettling about Jennifer's behavior. I'll cut it. My place is a bit messy, and it's embarrassing if you look around too much. It's no big deal. It doesn't bother me. I'll cut a slice for you too, Linda. Saying that, she picked up the knife and began slicing the pound cake. I didn't have the energy to say anything. The thick, nearly 4-inch pound cake slice that Jennifer placed in front of me was so thin I could see through it. She immediately started talking again. Listen, recently my boyfriend's been a bit distant. Even though I tell him I want to see him, he's always making excuses, like work or his daughter. Really? Wait, he has a daughter? But I'm a girl too. It's lonely. He could pay a bit more attention to me. Engaging deeply in such conversations usually leads to even longer ones, which can be troublesome. In times like these, it's best to just keep nodding and smiling. This was one of the interpersonal skills I learned from my medical office job, but there was one thing Jennifer said that I couldn't ignore. He told me if we had a child together, he'd leave his current wife. Oh, is that so? The other day I felt something was off, so I went to the doctor, and turns out, I'm pregnant. I'm so happy. I wonder when's the best time to tell him. I nearly dropped my mug of tea. Pregnant? Wait a minute. He's married, has a kid, and you're pregnant? What's going on? He says he doesn't find his wife's daughter cute. That's why he wants to live with me and have a cute child that looks like me. You're kidding, right? Jennifer continued, puffing out her cheeks. He probably wants some time to convince his wife, right? Well, they say a kind woman needs peace of mind. I was rendered speechless for a moment by Jennifer's recklessness and the cruelty of her actions that could break a family apart. Go home. What? Why? It's getting dark outside, and I need my boyfriend to come pick me up. Oh, and I was curious about the tea from that department store in the cupboard. Please leave. I need a moment alone. To think that Jennifer would suddenly come over like a storm and then unload the bombshell of an affair and pregnancy, it's just too much. I've been going to the hospital wanting a child, taking medications I don't even want to, and yet, why is Jennifer, my sister-in-law who's having an affair, the one expecting? To begin with, I can't believe that someone in my family could easily engage in such a horrible act like an affair. My mind is a mess, to the point where I can't even explain it to myself. About a week after Jennifer's explosive visit, Jake came home unusually early from work. Oh, home on time today? You usually come back on the last train. That's rare. Jake, however, threw his bag onto the floor and came up to me, agitated. I heard from Jennifer. She said you said something terrible. I mean, she did come over the other day, but did I say something that bad? I began, but then realized she must be talking about the affair and pregnancy. But it was too late. 2 nights ago, Jennifer called me crying. As her brother, I can't just ignore her when she's upset. But, isn't it unreasonable to ask someone to keep silent after they've done something so wrong? What are you saying? My sister's gone off the rails? Come on, spill it. Both the affair and the pregnancy are such sensitive topics. Even if he's my husband, it's not easy to speak about, and Jennifer should explain herself. It wasn't my place to poke my nose in. Taking advantage of my silence, Jake continued to blame me. Let me guess, you're gonna say it's your hormones making you irritable. You always get emotional so easily. I wanted to retort that he was the one being emotional, but once it got to this point, Jake wasn't going to listen. My dear sister is being bullied. He's just fired up, thinking he's playing the hero, trying to protect her. Poor Jennifer. You better apologize to her. I didn't understand why I needed to apologize. But to prevent further complications, I decided to. I tried to apologize later on, but the conversation went nowhere that day. However, the next day, as if nothing had happened, Jennifer began calling and texting me. And she did it more often than before, which was quite a hassle. Sometimes, I couldn't reply during work, but if I left her messages unanswered, she'd complain to Jake. So, I would send a brief reply to keep the peace, but I wish she'd spare me from her gushing about her affair, day and night. I had talked to Jake about Jennifer a few times, but it was all in vain. Right now, Linda's pretty much a stay-at-home wife, so she could at least listen to Jennifer's stories. What, are you jealous because Jennifer got pregnant first? It's not like that. I'm busy too. If she expects an immediate response in the middle of the night, I end up losing sleep, sleep deprivation. But Jennifer was so happy, saying, I never thought Linda would be this easy to talk to. I really want her to listen. So, you should go along with it. Talking to Jake didn't resolve anything. Even as I'm lost in thought, the constant notifications from Jennifer never stop. What to do? But little did I know how naive I was to complain over calls and emails. I'd realized that later. About 2 months after discussing Jennifer's situation with Jake. The seasons were changing, and I thought about getting out some fall clothes. Just as I was about to get up, the doorbell rang. Did I order a package? Muttering to myself, I approached the front door only to be met with an unexpected sight. Massive cardboard boxes, like someone was moving, were being carried into the house one after another. The recipient's name was Jake, maybe it's work-related stuff? And Jake, the very person the packages were addressed to, neither contacted nor came home. I wish he'd communicate these things. After 3 days of no communication, he returned in the middle of the night, making a ruckus. Hey, I'm home! No welcome? I was about to go to bed. It's 1 a.m. Can't you be a bit quieter? What's the big deal? Are you that upset I came back? Maybe he was drunk, but he seemed very confrontational. He walked towards me, but tripped over one of the boxes and fell dramatically. Hey, clean this mess up! These are all addressed to you. I can't just go opening them. Back talking? And by the way, you should be the one taking care of these. I was puzzled by Jake's statement. What do you mean I should? Just what I said. These boxes contain Jennifer and Mom's stuff. Mostly Jennifer's, I bet. Hold on, why would Jennifer and your mom's stuff be delivered here? With a smug look on his face, Jake began to explain. It's for my sweet sister, of course. She's been renting, but her lease is almost up. She said she's gonna move in with her boyfriend or get married soon, so I figured I'd look out for her until then. Hold on, you never told me. I've been promoted to assistant manager, and I'll be earning more. It won't be a problem. We got married 2 years ago, but to be honest, I hardly had any interactions with Jake's family. So, it's bewildering to be in this situation now. You mentioned once that you weren't close with your parents, didn't you, Jake? Well, there was a time when I found my family a bit too much to handle. But now that I've been promoted to assistant manager and making a bit more money, I figured now's the best time to help out my folks and support my younger sister. You're suddenly talking about living together, are you sure about this? It'll work out. Plus, we've got a spare room, and if we use your room for storage, the 4 of us can live together. What's the problem? He sounded like he had it all figured out, but I wasn't entirely convinced. Moreover, Jake talked about supporting Jennifer until she got married, but I wondered how much of Jennifer's story he really knew. From what I've heard, their versions don't quite match, and it gave me an uneasy feeling. Starting today, we're supporting my mom and Jennifer. If you're not okay with that, I'm gonna divorce you. That's too sudden and not feasible. I wouldn't want to live with them even if it was just for a short time. Fine, then I'll divorce and leave. Give it a shot. That said, I couldn't just pack up and leave immediately. I have to make all the necessary preparations in this house before doing so. Jake needs a reality check. First, I'll start by going through Jake's belongings. I've had suspicions for a while that Jake might be cheating on me. There were times he'd come home late, smelling of a woman's perfume, and I've spotted suspicious cards peeking from his pockets on several occasions. Does he really think I haven't noticed with all these clues lying around? He's fooling himself. Checking our shared computer, Jake had left his account logged in. I was able to go through his emails, and sure enough, they were incriminating. Reading the email filled with sweet words, I got the chills. The person he was emailing was a woman. Digging further, I found hotel newsletters and reservation confirmations. Apparently, he's been going there every Wednesday and Friday. He used to tell me he was out drinking with colleagues or clients on those days, but now everything clicked. I noted down the hotel's name, so if I stake out the place, I might be able to get photos for evidence. But I'm no expert, and the last thing I want is to get caught. I'll have to think of a foolproof way to tail him and gather evidence. Jennifer seems to be coming over to the house in 4 days, but before that, while investigating Jake's affair, I've decided to also check out Jennifer's movements, just to be on the safe side. Jake seems to think Jennifer is some sort of tragic heroine or something, but boy is he wrong. She's just a mistress, scheming to stick around the house until she can make an affair official through marriage. You gotta do what you can now, for any unforeseen circumstances in the future. After all, it never hurts to have a few aces up your sleeve. Mumbling these thoughts to myself, I start checking social media. A friend suggestion pops up. I tap on an icon that seems to be Jennifer's face. Her photo is heavily edited, the shape of her face and the size of her eyes are completely different, but it's unmistakably Jennifer. Browsing through Jennifer's page, I see photos and posts that lead me to an unpleasant truth. You've gotta be kidding me. Most of Jennifer's photos are those hint photos, suggesting she's in a relationship. But what caught my eye was a man's belongings in the background, something familiar. These hint photos didn't show the man's face, but I'm pretty sure it's the husband of a close friend from high school. She was such a good friend that I even gave a speech at her wedding. Plus, I visited her house multiple times when she was single, so I know. He always had a unique taste in belongings and style. I remembered thinking he had a flair for things with uniqueness, so I'm certain about it. One of the items in the photo is a shark bone keychain, identical to the one my friend said she and her husband both have. There's also a uniquely colored wallet and a tie with a distinct pattern. Anyone who knows him would instantly recognize those. I wonder if my high school friend knows about this. No, she's probably living her life unaware of it. I was torn, but decided my friend probably doesn't know. Whether to confront him about the affair or not, I'd leave up to her, but I decided to let her know about the social media account. And there's one more person I need to get in touch with. It's been a while, mother-in-law. You're coming over the day after tomorrow to live with us, right? I heard from Jake, but before that, there's something I'd like to discuss. Oh, what a coincidence! I'm gonna be staying with you from the day after tomorrow, and I had something I wanted to talk to you about too. Given that the mother-in-law also wants to talk, this seems like a good time. I might as well lay it all out now. I'm gonna be blunt. I'm thinking of divorcing Jake, and the reason is that he's been cheating. I'm still at the house now, but once I pack up, I plan to leave. I had a hunch something was up. Jake suddenly started talking about being a good son, and I knew something was off. So, where's the proof? It makes sense for her to ask for proof. If her own son was cheating and that led to a potential divorce, of course she'd want to see evidence. Here it is. We share a computer, and I found these emails and photos. I think they make it clear. Is this all you've got? The way she flips through the printed-out emails hurts. Her gaze feels heavy. This is all for now. I really wanted more conclusive evidence before confronting Jake, but I don't have anything else yet. Well, considering it's him, I'd expect him to try and make excuses or lie. Here, take this and hire a detective or whoever you need. She slowly took something out of her purse, a bank book and a debit card. But this money. It's part of my late husband's inheritance. He cheated on me when we were younger, and I just can't stand infidelity. This seems like the perfect opportunity to teach him a lesson. As she said this, she smirked. I'd only spoken to her once or twice before. To be honest, I found her a bit intimidating, so I never imagined she'd be this supportive. Use this money to settle things properly. I've always appreciated that you, Linda, married my good-for-nothing son. I want you to lean on me. With the money the mother-in-law provided, I hired a detective known for his skills in catching cheaters. I got indisputable evidence. Now, I just need to find the right moment to confront Jake. It's been 2 weeks since my mother-in-law and Jennifer started living together. I was almost ready to leave the house. On a day off from work, for both Jake and me, a letter addressed to Jennifer got forwarded to our house, and it turned out to be a ticking time bomb.
What? The boyfriend wants to break up?
You were just talking about getting married or something, weren't you? What the heck did you do?
It's from his wife. She is saying they are not going to divorce and he will dump me instead.
Suddenly, Jake grabbed the papers Jennifer was holding.
What's this? The sender's name is a woman. This can't be real. It's gotta be some kind of prank.
For some reason, Jake seemed to think Jennifer wasn't entirely at fault. On the other hand, my mother-in-law looked as though she had no idea what was going on. Jennifer often talked about her beloved boyfriend. That guy? He's my best friend's husband. She got pregnant, and he said he'd divorce his wife and marry Jennifer? Did you really think he would do that?
Wait, so that was a lie? Come on, you tried to break up someone's family.
Jennifer, on the verge of tears, defended herself.
He always said he and his wife were at odds and could get divorced any day. He told me he wanted to raise a child together if we had one and that he wanted a child with me.
They were already on the rocks. So, it ain't cheating or having an affair. Jennifer's always been an easy target for jealousy and grudges. Feeling the urgency, I confronted Jake. So, are you saying infidelity and affairs aren't a big deal? Well, it's just men being men, right? Why overreact for every little thing? You should just let it go. I laid out the pictures a detective took on the table.
This picture clearly shows you, Jake. The report says you're cheating with a woman named Janet, a client. Stop playing games.
Jake seems to think I'm not really mad and is still laughing it off. I told you, it's just men being men. If you can't handle it, how are you gonna survive in this world? That's it. The decision to divorce still stands. Naturally, I'll start filling for our assets to be divided. Hey, wait a minute. You can't be serious. What's this division thing? Cool your head. From the side, the mother-in-law's angry voice cut in.
Both Jake and Jennifer are hopeless. I never thought my own son could be like this. I'm so disappointed. Wait, it's not my fault, Mom. The boyfriend lied to me. I'm a victim. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Enough of your ridiculous excuses.
Next to the arguing mother-in-law and Jennifer, Jake, realizing the gravity of his actions, asked me. You're not serious about the divorce and property division, are you? You still love me, right? What are you talking about? Cheating, making decisions on your own, you're the worst. Remember when you, all by yourself, decided that living with your mother and Jennifer was the only option, and if I didn't accept it, we'd divorce? Who are you to say that? Unbelievably, upon hearing my words, Jake began to sob.
It was fate that Janet and I met. It was pure love. Our relationship is different from ours. You understand, right? You'd support my pure love, wouldn't you?
I couldn't, and didn't want to, understand a word he said from start to finish. Anyway, I've packed my things, and I'm leaving.
Are you really leaving? How am I gonna live without you?
Looking down at Jake pathetically clinging to my feet, I delivered my final words. Not my problem. Expect the divorce process to begin soon. Deal with it. In the end, with the involvement of a lawyer, I smoothly got divorced with Jake and filed so our assets to be divided equitably. Although my ex-mother-in-law had lost her husband earlier, she's in good health and has started living on her own for the first time. I got a message from her saying that she's really enjoying her new life, diving into hobbies and other activities. Rumors have it that Jennifer got pregnant from an affair. You can't keep a secret for long, so it was bound to come out. In the end, she got fired from the agency she worked for. The rumors of her affair spread, and she became labeled as trouble everywhere, making it difficult for her to find employment. Moreover, Jennifer's affair partner chose to reconcile with his wife and child, essentially my best friend, leaving Jennifer behind. One day, Jennifer found out where I was and aggressively confronted me.
You told his wife about us, didn't you? Were your well wishes for my happiness a lie?
I never said I wished for your happiness. I can't forgive anyone for having an affair, especially since she's my best friend. I can't stand by and watch my best friend suffer. That's all.
You're the one who's meddling.
Jennifer tried to grab me, but luckily we were in a crowded mall, and a young security guard intervened, preventing any harm. By the way, both of them seem to be trying to lean on my ex-mother-in-law in various ways, but she seems to be rejecting them. Jake got dumped by the woman he was cheating with and, under the stress, got hooked on slot machines. He was avoiding to comply with paying me the property settlement, so I had to request court to enforce the divorce settlement. Rumors of our divorce and his non-compliance spread throughout Jake's workplace. His workplace took the situation very seriously. Even though Jake was performing well, he got demoted to a do-nothing department because of his behavior. In this new department, which is often referred to as a sidelined room, he reportedly has nothing to do all day and is just dead weight to the company. I've successfully divorced Jake and now thoroughly enjoying my single life. I once dreamed of having a child with the man I loved, but that's all in the past now. I need to make sure I earn well. Who I'm dating with the intention of marrying. Our lives, both personal and professional, are fulfilling. He's a male nurse hired midway through his career, very gentle-spoken, and it's really relaxing to talk to him. He's an amazing man who wants to spend his life with me, even if it means not having children. I want to decide my own happiness as I move forward in life.